사랑하는 교회 여러분 안녕하세요. 수요일 아침 말씀 묵상 시간이 다가왔습니다. 오늘도 역시 벤성 전도사님이 말씀 전해주시는데 여러분 어제와 오늘이 무엇이 다르신지 아세요? 오늘은 어제보다 예수님을 뵐 수 있는 시간이 하루 더 빨라진 거예요. 그러니까 우리가 오늘은 더 예수님 말씀 묵상하면서 또 주님께 많이 은혜 받는 하루 되기를 서로 기도해요. 말씀 듣겠습니다.
십자가 그 사랑 멀리 떠나서 무너진 나의 삶 속에 잊혀진 주네
돌 같은 내 마음 어루만지사 다시 일으켜 세우신 주를 사랑합니다.
나를 보호하시고
날 붙드시리.
나는 보배롭고 존귀한 주님의 자녀라. 주 너를 보호하시고
널 붙드시리.
너는 보배롭고 존귀한 주의 자녀라.
마태복음 24장 12절 말씀입니다. 불법이 성함으로 많은 사람의 사랑이 식어지리라. 아멘.
Recently, in the Asian community in America, it's been shaken by random acts of violence committed against Asian people. And we've seen horrible things done to elderly. And most recently, we heard about a young man killing 8 people in Georgia. 6 of them who were women, and 4 of them who were Korean. Asians all across America are angry, afraid, frustrated, and some are responding by taking action and doing what they can to protect their community and to demand protection and justice from the government. This morning, my goal is not to give my opinion on how Asians in America are responding to the violence and hate crimes that members of our community are experiencing. Instead, I want to look to the words of Jesus to make sure that we are paying close attention to the condition of our hearts and how we are responding to what is going on. This morning, our passage comes from Matthew chapter 24. And if you're not familiar with this chapter, this is one of the most detailed teachings that Jesus gives about things that will take place on the earth as we get closer to the time when He will return. Jesus made it very clear to His disciples that there are things that are going to happen before He returns And the reason why Jesus was telling them about these things was so that they would know that when they do see these things happening, they would understand that Jesus' return is near, and so they should do what is necessary to prepare. And this is what Jesus tells them in Matthew chapter 24, verse 12. He says, "And because lawlessness will increase, the love of many will grow cold." What we need to understand from this verse is that Jesus is telling his disciples that wickedness will increase on the earth as we get closer and closer to the time when Jesus returns. Now, there may be some places that experience more wickedness than others. But what we can be sure of is that there will be a worldwide trend of wickedness increasing. And because wickedness will increase, Jesus explained to his disciples that the love of many people will grow cold. What we need to understand is that Jesus was talking about a specific group of people whose hearts will grow cold. And the group of people that he was talking about were those who considered themselves to be followers of Jesus. The pressure from all the things that will happen at once, which includes not just an increase in wickedness, but Jesus also mentions wars, famine, natural disasters, and even persecution. Pressure from all these things happening together will cause many followers of Jesus to lose their love for God and for one another. Now, just before our verse for today, Jesus also told the disciples that there will be wars and rumors of wars that will be going around the world. And then if you look at verse 7, he also tells them that nations will rise against nations. In the original Greek, the word for nation is ethnos, which is where we get the English word ethnic or ethnicity. So what Jesus is saying is that as the world gets closer to the day when Jesus will return, what his disciples need to watch for is the rise in ethnic groups fighting against ethnic groups. What's important to understand from this teaching of Jesus is that the pressures that will increase because of the events that will happen on the earth will be so intense that it will cause some to lose their love for God and for one another. What's so important for followers of Jesus to remember is that when pressure grows, when we are faced with hardships because of things like a pandemic, acts of violence toward our community and our loved ones, injustice, and so many other things that can cause us to become afraid, frustrated, stressed, and even angry. It's in such times that our thoughts and our attentions needs to be focused more on Jesus and what He taught us through His Word than on the world and how they are responding. Without spending time with Jesus our Lord, we are putting ourselves at risk of having our love turn cold. Let's not look to the news and to media to determine how we should respond to the pressures. But instead, let's look to Jesus, our faithful shepherd, who is the way, the truth, and the life. Let's think about this. Jesus rose again from the dead to prove to the world and to His disciples especially that we can put our complete trust in Him.
전도사님 말씀 감사합니다. 마지막 날 말세에 다가올 때 더욱더 우리에게는 힘든 일이 온다고 예수님께서 말씀하셨는데, 그럴 때 예수님이 말씀하셨어요. 너희가 진정 마지막 때 내가 너희 믿음을 보겠느냐 하신 예수님의 말씀이 생각이 납니다. 여러 가지 힘든 일이 있고 세상은 악해지고 더 어려울지라도 정말 더 예수님을 믿는 믿음으로 예수님을 기쁘게 하는 저와 여러분이 되기를 오늘 간절히 소원하고, 또 이럴 때일수록 기도하고 말씀 읽고 또 성령 하나님의 인도하심으로 진정한 주의 자녀가 됨을 세상에 보이는 빛의 자녀와 소금의 역할을 할 수 있는 저와 여러분이 되기를 또 간절히 소원합니다. 기도하겠습니다. 하나님 아버지, 믿는 우리들은 늘 세상을 보면서 왜 이렇게 어려워질까 불평하지 않고, 이럴 때일수록 더욱더 깨어있어 주님께서 말씀하신 마지막 때 정말 예수님을 더욱더 사랑하고 마지막 때 더욱더 말씀 붙잡는 포트랜드 영락교회 교우들이 되기를 간절히 원하오니, 성령 하나님 저희들 간절히 원하는 저희들에게 지켜주시고 또 은혜 내려주시고 또 복 내려주시옵소서. 오늘 말씀 묵상하는 동안에 항상 함께 해주심을 믿사오며 거룩하신 예수님 이름으로 기도드립니다. 아멘. 교우 여러분, 또 내일 뵙겠습니다.